Fox 61 News at 5 starts now.
Right now at 5, the new police chief has a new agenda for New Haven. Right now, the reforms the police chief's looking to make in his first days on the job to improve the police department and the community.
A third victim has been confirmed dead after a fire rips through a local home. And now at 5, we learn of the youngest victim.
A local maternity ward staying open despite a push to close its doors. We'll look into why Hartford Health wants to shut it down, but why it's staying open.
The family and friends of a young woman killed in a Hartford shooting honor her memory tonight. First at 5, a preview into a prayer vigil to honor that 22-year-old.
Thanks for joining us here on the news at 5. I'm Ben Goldman. The New Haven Police Department and the mayor making an announcement today in response to what happened to Randy Cox, who was paralyzed while in the custody of police on June 19th.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. Well, Fox 61's Tony Terzi joins us live from New Haven Police Headquarters with a look at some policy changes, which includes the use of prisoner transport vans. A lot of questions about that, Tony.
Yeah, indeed, because of what happened to Randy Cox, for sure. Hi there, Sarah. Ben, good afternoon to you at home. Prisoner transportation and the operation of the detention center here at the New Haven Police Department, what's being scrutinized and where the policy changes focus on.
All right, my man, step in there.
All right. Richard Randy Cox's life, of course, changed moments later when the van he was being transported in with no seatbelts was stopped abruptly, sending him sliding head first into a wall, paralyzing him.
I want to reiterate that what happened to Mr. Cox was unacceptable, and we're committed to making these necessary changes.
Among the department changes, how prisoners are transported from the field to the detention center.
These updates include requiring the primary means of transporting prisoners to be in a marked police cruiser.
New Haven's police vans will now primarily only be used to transport prisoners to court. 2 of the 3 vans now have seatbelts installed, including the one Cox was injured in. The chief and mayor visited Cox in his hospital room yesterday.
The first thing he said to me is he struggled to say, "I can't talk." The family said that that Daddy was even progress.
And I'm never going to forget meeting him and him attempting to talk. And it was a very emotional thing. We're committed to making sure this never happens again.
Moving forward, all arrestees must be seatbelted in a van or a cruiser, and officers must now check on the medical condition of prisoners.
Officers are required to make an initial inquiry prior to transport and upon arrival at the detention facility during the intake process.
And if they request medical assistance,
the officers must immediately contact their supervisor and request that an EMS be dispatched to their current location.
And officers will be trained on the new policies over the next month or so, and then they'll be tested online to make sure they've got it down good. And there's other training that's happening, more in-depth training on how to deal with one another in groups of officers out in the field and other items as well. Tomorrow, don't forget, 5 o'clock, protesters will descend upon the New Haven Police Department as they march from a local library to the PD. And at the police department, the mayor and the police chief say they will be part of the group and would be happy to speak if they're asked to do so. We're live here in New Haven. Tony Terzi, Fox 61 News.
All right. Thank you, Tony. Well, breaking new details out of Waterbury. A 17-month-old toddler has died after a fire ripped through a family's home. The fire broke out at a home on 3rd Street yesterday afternoon. Police say a man and woman in the home also died of smoke inhalation. Fire officials tell us the building is significantly damaged, but the cause of the fire remains unknown.
Well, among the issues New Haven's new police chief wants to deal with quickly is the fact that the police union contract expired a week ago. The chief said yesterday that he wants to be part of the process that leads to the union receiving a fair contract without delay, and certainly doesn't want the union to go without a contract for over 3 years, which was the case until the last contract was agreed to in 2019. And with roughly 100 fewer officers than the department's budgeted for, it cannot afford to lose more officers turned off by contract issues.
I can guarantee that it's not going to take 3 years to work through this contract. I'm sure that there will be some differences as we dive into this process, but I think that we have a good working relationship with the officers, and it's a priority for us to get this done.
In response, the union president released a statement this afternoon saying, quote, New Haven cannot afford to allow all of its talent, experience, and resources and training walk out the door. And to a great degree, our police department is already understaffed and overworked. It's up to Mayor Elliker, his administration, and our city leaders to provide better pay and benefits so that we keep these officers on the job and they can continue making our communities safer.
Well, new at 5, the Office of Health Strategy has denied Hartford Healthcare's request to close the maternity ward at Windham Hospital. This decision is being met with relief, but also criticism on both ends. Fox 61's Carmen Chow joins us live in Windham to explain what this will mean for the community. Carmen.
Sarah, this just means a woman in labor now doesn't have to drive a half hour or more to go to the next closest hospital. Hartford Healthcare, on the other hand, says Windham Hospital isn't equipped to provide a safe delivery. The Office of Health Strategy citing a variety of risks if Windham Hospital's maternity unit were to close permanently, some of which include limiting patient choice and increased cost. Lynn Ide gave birth to 3 children at Windham Hospital. She is one of the many advocates hoping for a permanent reopening of the unit.
How many women don't have transportation and other availability to go long distances to have their babies?
The next closest hospitals would be Bacchus Hospital in Norwich or Manchester Memorial Hospital. Both are at least a half hour or 45 minutes away from Windham and would require taking Route 6, a long stretch of road that is poorly lit at night with nowhere to pull over. Attorney General William Tong calling that dangerous, especially for a mother in labor.
It's not safe to require moms, families, patients to travel a half hour or longer to Norwich or Manchester or Hartford from Wyndham.
It's 2 lanes, one each direction. This split right here has a little bit of a shoulder, but many places doesn't even have a shoulder. It's windy.
Hartford Healthcare, on the other hand, expressing their disappointment, pointing to declining births at Windham Hospital, making it, quote, impossible to provide a safe, quality childbirth experience.
Between July of 2018 and June of 2020, there were 2 periods of time where the OB unit went longer than 14 days without a maternity admission.
Moving forward, Hartford Healthcare has 21 days to appeal and request an oral argument, and the final decision maker has 90 days to decide what they officially want to do. I'm live in Windham. Carmen Chow, Fox 61 News.
All right, Carmen, thank you. Want to switch gears, get to the weather watch, take a look outside of our Hartford camera. Today was a little bit cooler, but still feeling summer-like out there. Tomorrow, that warmth and humidity comes on back.
Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank joining us now. Rachel, you'll get a kick out of this. My 3-year-old today asked, is it going to rain today? Because she saw the clouds, and I said, not today. Because I remember you kept saying all week, it's just not going to happen, just not going to happen.
Yeah, no, I love that. And A+ for you on knowing what the weather was going to be. Right now in Groton, it is just beautiful out there. It doesn't look like it's going to rain here. Lots of sunshine, temperatures in the mid-70s. The boats are on the water. We're close to 80 degrees for Hartford and Windsor Locks. Yes, it is cooler than this time yesterday, especially along the shoreline where it's up to 10 degrees cooler. That's where the biggest temperature difference is noted. The humidity nice and low right now, but it will be rising as we head through the overnight and into the day tomorrow, and the temperatures are going to be rising too. Just some clouds around the Hartford area right now, parts of the northern half of the state, but a lot brighter for the southern half. Here's the rain that we need. That's just not going to happen for us, as Sarah mentioned. Heading through the evening tonight, we're going to say it's a great night to eat outside on the deck, patio, support a restaurant. Temperatures will be in the mid to upper 70s right around dinner time. 9 o'clock tonight, 10 o'clock, we'll see temperatures close to the 70-degree mark. There is a chance for areas of patchy fog as we head towards daybreak tomorrow, so check in with the Fox 61 Morning Show crew. They'll let you know if there's any trouble spots out there. Otherwise, heading through the day, we'll see a mix of sun and clouds and high temperatures climbing into the low to mid 80s as we head through the afternoon. There is a slight chance for a sprinkle or a late day shower, but most of the state is going to stay dry. And this weekend is looking great for outdoor plans, not so great for your lawn or garden. We'll explain your full forecast coming up.
Great. Thank you, Rachel. And we have some breaking news. New Haven police are investigating a homicide after a 17-year-old was shot. This happened on Sunday on Poplar Street near Pine and Chatham Streets around 11 at night. That's where police say they found that teen. He was rushed to the hospital where he later died. No word yet on any arrests or suspects. Police are asking anyone who has information to come forward. We're told the teen just graduated high school. This is the city's 6th homicide of the year, and an investigation is ongoing. And breaking news at 5, Derek Chauvin has been sentenced to 21 years in federal prison for violating George Floyd's civil rights. Chauvin pleaded guilty in December. He will also be required to pay restitution. Today's sentencing is in addition to Chauvin already serving 22.5 years for his conviction in a state court on murder and manslaughter charges related to Floyd's May 2020 death. He will serve the state and federal sentences concurrently.
Turning to COVID-19 here in Connecticut, the governor just releasing the numbers for the last week. The positivity rate jumping back up to double digits, standing at 10.64%. Right now, 264 people are in the hospital battling the virus. 10 people have died in the last week.
Monkeypox cases are climbing worldwide. Health officials are now scrambling to prevent a full-blown outbreak. The World Health Organization says cases globally rose 30% in the past 2 weeks. Europe is seeing the vast majority of those cases, responsible for 80% of new infections across the globe. The UN says expanding vaccination efforts and improving monkeypox surveillance will be crucial to stop a future outbreak.
WHO is working with countries and vaccine manufacturers to coordinate the sharing of vaccine, which are currently scarce and need to be accessible to the most at-risk people.
Meanwhile, New York City is now being dubbed the epicenter of the monkeypox virus here in the United States. Health officials say the number of probable cases increased to more than 119 as of this week. The city now plans to open several pop-up clinics to administer vaccinations in the coming weeks. Monkeypox symptoms include headache, muscle aches, and fever, along with lesions on the body. If exposed to the virus, you should isolate immediately and contact your local health provider.
2 dogs killed in a house fire in South Windsor. Crews were first called to the home shortly after 10 o'clock last night. Firefighters say the family was not there at the time and then returned to find their house on fire. Neighbors and the family tried saving those dogs inside before crews arrived on scene. Investigators are looking into what caused that fire.